Hey, what's going on, everyone? Austin Distal here, and I'm joined by Michael, the founder of Surfer. You guys might know this is one of the fastest growing SEO tools in the market, and we are lucky enough to integrate with them. And a lot of people are using Surfer and Jasper to write really high quality content in the market. And there's my replay on the other side. Um, and so a lot of people are using this combo of Jasper and Surfer to write content, especially like blog articles, really fast, and then have them rank on Google to bring organic traffic to their business, more leads, more sales. You all know the gist. And so today we're going to roll through how to use Surfer, and then we'll use how to use Jasper, and then I'll show you like actually a real workflow to write a very high quality article in about an hour. I'm not going to run through the whole hour of actually writing it, but you'll be able to walk away with these tips and tricks so that at the end of the day, if you really wanted to, you could go from blank page to published on your blog in about an hour and feel really confident that it will rank for the keywords that you're looking for. So in the comments, let me know, how'd you hear about this training today? Did you come from Jasper? Did you come from Surfer? Or did you come from somebody else that recommended you this training? And by the way, Michael, why don't you tell me a little bit about Surfer, where you guys came from, and your story?
Sure. So we are a company based in Poland. The whole team is there, and we are building this SEO tool. It is actually the agency turned SaaS product. So we had an issue in the agency that we struggled with getting competitive analysis of our competitors' content to get the best information about making decisions that will benefit SEO. This is simple. Solve your own problem, and it will be just the best way to help other people. So it happened. And during the last 4 years, we've been building the product and serving. Right now, it's almost like 10,000 customers using Surfer every month. So it's pretty big in the community already, and I'm super proud of it. So yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, your all's growth is amazing this year. And I even see like a lot of Fortune 500 companies are using you, a lot of agencies and brands. Who would you say specifically is your is like the happiest customer segment?
Mm, well, it's tricky, but anyone who publish content to the web is benefiting from using the tool. But the fact that there's so many people publishing for the web and getting organic traffic, I would tell that the biggest opportunity is among SaaSes because they have really well established domains quite often, and they are strong brands, and content marketing for SaaS is extremely beneficial. Imagine that you are solving a problem like how to write content fast, such an article, right? And you have a solution how to write the content fast with Jasper. So someone comes in from organic looking for a specific solution of how to write content fast and finds it on a Jasper's blog. And then there is a solution. Okay, this is how I do it. So, all right, I've got the solution. I can just try it out and use and buy. So, these kind of businesses who can turn easily the content marketing efforts into customers, it is really the best, the most moment to invest in content really that is optimized for SEO as it is free traffic.
I love it. Yeah, let me show you all. Thank you all for joining today live. And if you're watching the replay, let me show you on what we're going to roll through today. In this 90-minute training, we're going to talk about how to find the best keyword opportunities. We're going to get really clear on your content strategy. We'll create outlines for you to build a high ranking blog post. And then we'll switch over into Jasper, and we'll actually, now that we've done a lot of the research side and we understand how to write, how to be strategic, here's where we actually get into printing words, generating paragraphs really quickly, and going from that blank page to first draft in about an hour. Then we'll refine it even further. And if you have existing content that you want to refresh. Let's say you published it in the past and you want to now optimize it, you want to lengthen it, or you want to update it for the current, state of the world. You can do that here within Jasper. And then one thing I was going to do is bring on 3 customers, but I'm finding that it's just taking a really long time to upload those short videos even. So what I will be doing, if you're watching this replay, I'll append them to the end of this recording. But if you're watching this live with us, then I will just include those customer interviews on exactly their real workflow, on how they go from nothing, with just starting with an idea, to this whole process here, the workflow, and getting it to a final product where the Surfer score is 72 or higher, really giving you confidence for first page rankings. And then some of the tricks and tips to write quality content with Jasper, making sure it's grammatically correct, plagiarism free, and original content. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and stick around throughout this to learn the ultimate workflow. I think that this is something that's been revised many times over the course of the year. We launched this integration with Surfer about a year ago, and now there's roughly, from what I can see, around 3,000 to 4,000 people using this combination. And so it's been time tested. And at this point, we're finding the community has surfaced a lot of really cool ways to use this integration. And a couple segments that you might, raise your hand and like, this is really for me. If you are a freelance writer or solopreneur, that you're trying to manage a lot of content marketing at once, whether that's social media content, it's writing copy for your blog or your website, like headlines and product descriptions, or you're trying to really do SEO optimized content at scale. And so I found those segments really get a lot of value out of this workflow. In fact, the customer interviews that I'll be appending at the end, we have one guy who at his job, he had a law firm. He is the content marketer and SEO guy bringing leads in. He uses this combo to rank his law firm, to dominate page 1, to outrank all of his competitors, and then bring those leads into his site. He also on the side has a consulting agency, and he's able to double the volume of clients because of this combo. The amount of time savings that he's been able to save has literally doubled his business. And over the last year, is now making twice as much. Guess what happened? He was able to have his wife quit her full-time job and be a full-time stay-at-home mom. And so it's really cool to just see like
changing people's lives.
Yeah, literally changing people's lives. Imagine what you could do if you could crank out content 5 times faster using these 2 AIs working in combination with each other.
The same happened to us, in
Yeah.
the agency. When we introduced Surfer as a product to the agency that I was working for, we were like, God dang, we can take on more clients because now we have capacity without extra hired people. So it was really a game changer for the agency's growth, as it is really hard to hire, onboard, train new people to do SEO. And when your existing team can handle twice as many clients, it is just, it's a win-win situation for everyone.
Absolutely. It also reminds me of another story that I'll append to the end about a guy who was really unfulfilled with his job, and he always wanted to be a digital nomad blogger, where he would build affiliate income, paying him from reviewing products on his blog. And using this combination, he figured out, one, what are the products that pay the most, and then how to rank for those keywords on Google. When people type in like, best VPN, he can rank number 1.
Oh my God, this is super hard. Keyword.
Yeah, things like that. But he'll use Surfer to figure out, what is that, and then he'll review that product and then get paid affiliate commissions. He writes the blog post with Jasper, and now he was able to quit his full-time job, go all in on being a digital nomad. He was FaceTiming me from another city, and is now generating a passive income stream through his blog using this workflow. So there's a lot of different people using this. I think it's really cool to see people, step outside of their comfort zone, learn these new modern tool stack to really grow their business. And it's great if you're a freelancer, if you're employed somewhere, or if you're running an agency. And so the third story I bring in is actually from our own team, Megan. You guys might chat with her sometime in customer success. So she writes blog posts for the Jasper clients. We only take on a couple a month, but we want to eat our own dog food, right? And so Megan will take on a client and write 2 to 3,000 word articles with Jasper, but using the insights from Surfer to help write these articles. And we're charging roughly like $400 per article. It takes about 1 hour of work, and we're doing that at scale. And now that's bringing in a pretty massive income stream. Where now we've hired a bunch of students from the University of Texas that are writing blog posts at scale using this combo to create a business. And we did this in about a month and a half. So if you're trying to get inspired today on what are all the opportunities that you can use this tech stack for, there's the stories are limitless. Your imagination, when you see what's possible here today, you can go off and create some amazing businesses for yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, I will be showing you the content strategy in a few moments, and this content strategy can be really overwhelming at the very beginning when someone is starting a new website and they see like, oh God, I need 100 articles. But with this combination with Jasper and Surfer, not only these 100 articles can be SEO optimized, but they can be written really fast, and it's not like a Sisyphean job anymore. You see the end, and it is pretty close actually, which is really amazing about the whole story. So I don't know. Are we getting started? I'm
Yeah,
really
we're ready to get started
for it.
now. Why don't you go ahead and share your screen and walk us through how Surfer works? And while you
Absolutely.
do that, by the way, everyone, we have gotten a deal here with Surfer where we're gonna go ahead and pay for most of your first month. So you get it for just $1, the basic version of Surfer. Test it out for yourself. You can follow along with us here at jasper.ai/surfer deal. And Michael, I'm gonna go ahead and highlight your screen.
Absolutely. Okay. I guess you see my screen already, and I will keep it. I will keep it, guys, really simple because Surfer it is a complex tool. It can be considered as the all-in-one tool, SEO tool for experts, and many other. But today we will focus on creating content strategy really fast and executing it really fast by creating guidelines out of each content idea. And I will also show you how to optimize these articles, and that's it. I will skip all of these uh, deep dives into the correlations, data, all of the information that really advanced SEOs can dive into. So we focus on content, creating strategy, content at scale, and that's all you need to build a successful blog from the ground up with this combination of Jasper and Surfer. So this is what you see when you log into Surfer. Basically, we've got a bunch of tools that you will see on the left hand side, and the tools that you want to focus on are two tools: the content editor and the content planner. So in the content planner, you will start mapping your pages to rank for the top keywords. You will find the whole content strategy for the niche to start ranking, to start becoming an expert in the industry. And we've got like two lessons: lesson one, which is find the best keyword opportunities, and lesson two, get clear on your content strategy. I would love to start with the lesson two actually, because getting clear on the strategy is more like an introduction to what the hell a content strategy is and what does it mean for Google. So um, The content strategy has one goal, and this goal is to build topical authority for your website, to become an expert and trustworthy source of information about certain topic. You don't need anything else. It is not about a content schedule. It is not about content repurposing. It is not about PR. It is also not about content distribution. It is all about one thing: which topics have to be covered within my blog about SEO. So Google thinks I am really a blog about SEO and I know the drill. So getting clear on the content strategy and outranking competitors in Google is really about building a strong foundation for your website, so you really become considered as one of the best experts in the industry about the topic. And why is it so important? The number one thing that makes this content strategy really important is to go niche, is to be an expert about something specific. Because if you want to create a blog about sports, well, it will take you thousands of categories, and each of category will have hundreds of articles required to become an expert. But if you niche down, and let's say you will take the backcountry skiing, you will only have a bunch of topics to cover that you can build authority relatively fast and get noticed as an expert relatively quick. So if you want to grow a blog about sports, grow niche by niche, execute strategy to take over specific area of the topic, then move to the next topic, to the next topic, to the next topic, but only after the previous one is completed. It will give you a lot of trust, and you'll be able to rank for these keywords much quicker than doing chaotic moves in sports like Olympics, NFL, I don't know, basketball, whatever. It won't make a friction of a chance to rank in Google on these keywords. Niche down, be specific, and you will get there with your content strategy that is clear, that has a clear goal. I want to rank in the end, I want to rank for a keyword. And look at my screen now. Actually, you look at it all the time. This introduction could be more like a camera in front instead of a screen, but yeah, you were staring for the screen long enough, so you see this: how to drain gutters. And what does it mean to be an expert on draining gutters? You've got a bunch of topics to cover, and this is the clear strategy on how to get to becoming an expert on how to drain gutters. You've got the article about gutter drainage ideas here. You got another idea: French drain gutters, underground drain, how to drain gutters away from house, patching gutters, downspouts, whatever it is, uh, dry, dry well installation, commercial rain gutters, extended. How does pop-up drain work? So we've got many informational articles, ideas about specific topics you need to cover to become the gutter drainage expert. And you can imagine such a situation that someone has a service. Let's say you are a business owner and you clean, you drain gutters, or you install gutters. And someone told you that the content marketing is a thing. And you think like, what can I write about to make my website even more about gutters than it is right now? And there you go. You solve people's problems. You help them understand the different types of gutters, the ways of draining them, and so on and so forth. You build your position in Google because you build the topical authority. You fulfill these elements that are required to be ranking really on the topic. And even though there is really a friction of a chance that someone from your city will search for the fresh French drain gutters, it doesn't mean it's not worth it. It's worth it because Google will see you as an expert. And having those informational articles that are searched like countrywide strengthen your local city pages where you have these services. So even someone who really is a gutters installer can make benefits from the combination of a clear content strategy with a combination of Jasper and Surfer, so they can write it really fast. So finding the best keywords opportunities. I think it's time to move to this topic as we have well, we now know why are we creating the content strategy. We know how to create the content strategy. So, well, do we? SOP time. Content planner in the menu. The keyword is selected. The country is selected. And the main focus keyword, the target keyword, should be put here. This tool is unlimited use, so you can play with it as long as you want. And if you put a keyword that is informational, like how to drain gutters, you can expect results that will be like a problem solving type of articles. If you will type gutters in here, actually we can try it. It will be more commercial. It will be more about uh, gutters and rooftops and maybe chimneys and maybe ventilation, HVAC, whatever kind of is around the house. So and these will be more commercial, more e-commerce websites will show up. So if you want to create a content strategy for the blog, put a topic in the content planner that is also the same type. So how to drain gutters is really a good idea in this case. But let's try to execute that strategy. We've got a keyword how to learn SEO, and perfect this is the perfect topic for Surfer SEO blog, of course. Because we want many people to learn SEO, to learn our tools, and get results as soon as possible. So we need such a cluster. And finding the best keyword opportunities is really important based on the difficulty of each topic. And you can find out about the difficulty by reviewing these groups of keywords. It says KD 7, so keyword difficulty is 7 out of 10. Or you can sort by the difficulty from low to high, and this way you will spot the easiest topics for your blog post. And the difficulty is 5, 6, 6, 6. Well, these are relatively high difficulty clusters, and by clusters I mean groups of keywords that you will rank together, because basically domains that are ranking for all of these SEO related terms are also pretty strong. Let's take a look at this draining gutters. Maybe here we will have something easier.
Curious here, what is the sweet spot for keyword difficulty score? What do you look for?
For the
Where you
easiest.
actually on the first page.
Yeah, I always look for the easiest. Because the easier the difficulty, the smaller the difficulty, the higher chance you can rank for it with weaker domain, because we all start at some point and we have zero authority. And here comes another well, this is a little bit of a complex thing, but let me shed some light on it. Uh, does it mean that when I have a new website, I have to skip all of the difficult keywords? No, because you need to show Google that uh, you are about this particular niche. Imagine this VPN thing. Uh, if your friend was afraid of tackling hard keywords, he would start only with like super long tail. What's the best VPN that works on my iPhone when I'm in Ecuador, right? And it will be easy to rank for such a keyword, but well, it has zero search volume. It's really small. And it is really a good idea to have these hard keywords pages on your website just to build the topical authority and not waiting for like a huge amount of traffic right away on these. It will come when you build enough topical authority, utilizing all of the suggestions and interlinking between those articles. So the time will come, and you should definitely cover hard keywords and easy keywords, but the results will come quicker on the easy keywords. So that's pretty obvious. Does it help?
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you for shedding light on that. And when you look at this content planning summary and these topic clusters here, are you looking at only writing like long form blog posts, or are these also to influence the copywriting on your marketing site in product descriptions and headlines and things like that?
So I can tell you that all of these clusters are labeled. They are labeled by the user intent that is behind of the majority of the pages that rank for these. And we've got like four basic intents: the local, the customer investigation, that is the affiliate intent. Then we've got informational, that will be mostly the blog posts. And we also have the shopping. And as you can see, the group of keywords about drain tile or about half round gutters copper, these are ranked by e-commerce. These are ranked by either products or categories. So you also want to create product or category instead of a blog post about the half round gutter made of out of copper. So um, this will influence the type of page you are going to create to rank for these keywords, because if Google prefers e-commerce kind of like product or category, you won't be able to rank, or chances are small to rank with an article for such a keyword, for such a group of keywords. So just pay attention to it. And actually, in terms of content strategy, let me show you something real quick. um, I will show you the difference between two different intents that you start with. Because we've got like, we can use the red dress, okay? Or we can use how to wear a red dress. And when it comes to this one, how to wear a red dress, we will get 86 clusters, which are 86 articles ideas, and the majority of them, the most of them, are informational intent, 64 out of 86. It is huge amount. So when we start with informational type of keyword, we receive informational type of recommendations, informational type of keywords. So you create articles out of them. So these are ideas for the blog. And what happens when you put something general like a red dress? So uh, even though you can be a blogger and blogging about clothing and blogging about red dresses because you love red dresses, if you put the red dress keyword into the content planner, you won't receive a strategy for a blog. You will receive a strategy for e-commerce because it is dominated by e-commerce type results, products or categories, not blogs. So going really broad on the topic is not the best idea if you are not aware of the user intent. If that was, let's say, marketing automation or I don't know, email marketing, kind of a little bit information, a little bit service keyword, you can get decent results. But it is always a good idea to direct Surfer into the intent you want to write for. So how to do email marketing? What is marketing automation? It will bring topics that are much more related to the blog, to the articles that we are built with Jasper and Surfer, instead of kind of service pages, MailChimp landing pages, or whatever. So um, let's dive into these. So we got the difficulty done, we've got the plan, and now it's time to execute that plan. Where to
Now we're
skip?
on lesson 3, creating article outlines built for high rankings.
Hmm.
Okay, sweet. If you guys have any questions about the first 2 sections here, where we find the best keyword opportunities or how to get really clear on your content strategy, let us know in the comments, and I'll go ahead and be fielding those as Michael goes on to lesson 3, creating article outlines built for high rankings.
Yes. One sec, I will just show you I was right about the gutters. So it is more commercial, and most of the intents here are sh- shopping 24, but we also have some informational about cleaning, about how to get something, blah blah blah. So yeah, the results depends on the seed keyword, and play with it because it is unlimited. So actually this is pretty good topic, so let's follow it. Imagine that we want actually a blog about gutters because it's a DIY blog, it is like a home improvement blog. So what do we do? What's the process? So we start with the filter, and we select the informational filter. Then we sort by the difficulty from low to high, and we've got seamless gutters, the easiest one, difficulty 5, and the total search volume of all of these keywords is over 1000. So it is actually a great candidate uh, to create a content and start building the topical authority with it. And we have 23 articles ideas in this section. So it's fairly easy to execute it with combination of Surfer and Jasper. So let's create an article outline that is built for high rankings. So I will just trigger the analysis.
One question here where I think it's
Go ahead.
relevant where we're at on the screen. Is each cluster that we see here for one blog post?
This is super relevant question, and thank you for that. Yes, every single tile is one article. And why is that? Why are we like presenting more keywords here? Maybe you can think that, well, I feel like I should split these keywords into 2 articles. You shouldn't. Why you shouldn't? Surfer is using machine learning algorithms to cluster these keywords together based on how Google prefers these keywords to be answered. So we analyze a lot of SERPs, we analyze a lot of pages, we analyze what do they rank for, what do they have in common, and these massive machine learning algorithms compare them, find patterns, and tell you which keywords you should rank together and which keywords you should rank on separate pages. So as we discussed, one title means one article that will rank for all of these keywords that you see here, and probably many more. This is just the core of the keywords you will rank for by writing an article using the guidelines we've just created. So let's talk about these guidelines, about the about the outline for creating higher ranking article. So we need to open the content editor, because as I told you at the very beginning, we've got two tools that we focus on today. We've got the content planner, that is lesson 1 and 2, so this clear strategy and best ranking opportunities, and lesson 3, which is the outline. So we know how long the article should be, how many headings, how many paragraphs and images, and what are the words and phrases that Google considers important to actually provide the best answer for the specific search term, or actually group of search terms we are targeting. So we are targeting 6 search terms. What is a seamless gutters? How are they made? On-site seamless gutter track, why to use them, and so on. So as you can see, there's like a variety of topics to cover, like why to use them, how they are made, how to install, on-site installation. So we will have a complete set of information for a person who is considering a seamless gutter system for his home. So let's get to maybe not to writing yet, but to explaining you what you see on the screen. So if you hover these, you see that was the range of words, headings, paragraphs, and images. You've got the score right here that indicates how well are you doing with your content. And if we start like what is seamless gutters, we can even add the cost. We already have H1, and we've got some points in the content score. The content score will grow as you use these terms in your article, as you meet the length requirements, the headings requirements, the paragraphs, images, and so on. And this right-hand side screen is available in Jasper with just a few clicks. It's few clicks away, and you can have it inside. And what else do we have here is that you can group these keywords within, like we group them automatically within some clusters. So we tell you that you need to write about the gutters, about the seamless stuff, that there is a system, about the installation and aluminum and the site and the cost. So if you click on the seamless, you will get all of the keywords that are that include the seamless word inside, so you know that, okay, what is it, installation, contractors, installing, aluminum, offers, outweigh, and so on. So requirements and many more. So this way you can understand how you should write about the topic. That the gutters is the most focused word, then the seamless, then the system. If you don't know what something is, let's say vinyl gutters, you click on the term and you receive content from your competitor to get the information about the context of how the term was used. This is really helpful if you want to understand what something is, because we've got the vinyl gutters, we've got the copper gutters, we've got the aluminum gutters. So we've got at least 3 materials. And I can imagine already a great heading that would be, for example, what seamless gutters are made of. And then H3, aluminum gutters, another H3, copper gutters, and another H3, steel sectional gutters. So I've already targeted a few keywords, and my score is already 32. So it goes really quick if you know what to write about, if you know what is required to cover the topic fully. And besides of the in score indicator and structure and the words that have to be used within the article, we will give you also some AI generated content before the Jasper actually starts writing, so you can build on top of that real quick. So we've analyzed competitors here, and you can browse through these. You can build the content relatively fast with some like generated sections, and then you can ask Jasper within its interface to make it sound like you, to make it sound great, to make it to extend it, because we just created 400 words while we need 4 times more. So with this initial input to Jasper, creating like grammatically correct and SEO optimized article is really an easy job, especially on the topics that are not like kind of surgery complexity topics. If these are like, you know, common knowledge, let's say, not like extremely niche or dangerous kind of information, you will be able to create great articles really fast in such a combination using these guidelines, initial outputs, and then extension in Jarvis interface that I wanted to look at right now.
Brilliant, and the people in the comments are loving it. They're in awe. Can you show us how you're using the headlines, headings, and NLP here in the tabs?
Oh, yes. So we will list a few of, well, okay, let me start from the ground up. Uh, the, the all tab is basically all the words and phrases that you have to have. The headings tab will list most important keywords that you should consider to be used in headings. So what are we missing? The seamless gutter. So we can, for example, add a heading, is seamless gutter better than, I don't know, something else? And another one can be, what is the best gutter system for my home? And boom, we've got them all checked. The NLP. Yeah, I'm really sorry about the interface that confuses you. It confuses me as well. So there is no difference between all and the NLP. Like you can consider all as like everything, and the NLP as the NLP entities. But within the all, there are 78 NLP entities. So well, this is redundant, really. You don't have to look at this tab, because like 95% of these tabs content is actually here in the all. So yeah, sorry for confusion. I have to change it as soon as
All
I
good,
can.
all good. And I just want to address a couple comments real quick. So at this point in the training, we have gone through how to do keyword research planning, and in the clusters, you can even see in sort by the difficulty rating. And Michael was suggesting that it's good to also try and write blog posts and rank for really hard keywords, even if you know you won't rank right away, because it gives you authority on the topic. And eventually that will carry on, that authority will carry on to helping other easier to rank for articles to begin ranking. So, make sure you get your bases. Something that Brandon brought up here, and I want to get your confirmation on this, Michael. He says, so a good content strategy might be start with informational blogs, then investigational blogs, and then shopping blogs. Where would local blogs fit in for national brands? How would you respond to that?
Thank you for that question. So there's not, well, the intent of these keywords, they are not corresponding to the blog type. They are about the search results pages type. And imagine we have 4 pages type. The first type is an informational, and it is like how to tie a tie article. Then we will have customer investigation, which is what is the best tie. So someone is really into buying a tie and looking for the best tie for the prom, right? This is customer investigation. Yet the shopping is something different. It is not a blog. It is product page or category page. And we will use that label on the clusters that are dominated not by the blogs, but by product pages or category pages. Imagine a keyword like Nike Air Max. What will show up? Like the stores selling shoes and their product pages or category pages, not the blogs. Like, is it Nike Air Max better than Adidas Predator or whatever, right? It's not about that. It is about the type of the page that ranks. And then when it comes to the local, it is more about the services or the locations kind of pages. So let's say Gutters Installator London. It will be local. So you will have to create a page that targets like a local audience looking for the gutters cleaner, gutters installator. So yeah, this is how it works really, and I hope that it answers your question. So it's not all about blogs. And the next one, does the content planner work well when we want to write a best of post? Of course. So let's see if I have any. I would love to get. Oh yeah, thank you. Let's see. Best. Do I have anything? Best climbing rope. So if you want to rank, you can consider it this way. Let's actually read the subheading. Map supportive pages that will help you rank for difficult keywords. And if the best climbing rope is a difficult keyword, you need to build authority around climbing gear, so you will be able to rank for the climbing rope. So to be an expert and rank for the best climbing rope, you need to review rope bags, quick draws, rope thicknesses. This is informational. Take a look. I'm zooming in. Informational. Climbing rope thickness. So you won't sell ropes on this page, but you will build authority to rank for best rope for climbing, because, well, here are the best ropes for climbing. If you need 200 meters, you need the thick rope, and if you need the 10 meters, you can use this like really lightweight rope. But what are the rope thicknesses? There you go. You link to your article about rope thicknesses. And this is how it works in SEO. You connect the information that belongs to, well, that follows up. So yeah, you just need to cover like helmets, shoes, gifts for the climbers, anchors, and, well, quite a lot of other topics, and then you can build authority and rank for the best climbing rope.
Brilliant. Thanks for clearing that up. And we have a few questions here about interlinking articles and like internal link structure. I'll highlight this one here. So Michelle asked, how do we plan our interlinking article structure with this tool?
I wish I had such a feature that will lay out the whole structure, but I can show you. Actually, well, the audit feature is something that will help you a little bit with internal linking. And I've got one of the Surfer SEO articles about machine learning SEO analyzed here, and it has a section that shows internal links, opportunities. And within that feature, we will tell you what are the URLs on your website that should be linking to this analyzed article to strengthen it. So you can go URL by URL in the audit to find the best internal linking opportunities to get a boost for this URL. But when it comes to creating a content, I mean, internal linking, strategy, you have to connect all of these pages that are created based on the planner into sort of a category or a circle that will link to each other when it is relevant. And this way, you will be able to create internal linking strategies. Make sure to use exact matching keywords as internal link anchors. Never link using keyword like read more, check it out, do whatever, because Google has zero context. It can read within anchor. I am not sure if it can read what's outside the anchor to build the context and then decide what does it mean to read more. The read more is used like gazillion times on the website and websites, and it has zero context. So if you are linking from Gutter Drip Edge installation to what is seamless gutter, use keywords that the page is ranking for. So anchors pointing to this URL should be what is seamless gutters, how are seamless gutters made, on-site seamless gutters, and so on. These are anchors used as internal links pointing to this page. This is important. If you point an internal link to this page, you use these keywords as anchors, these keywords. If you are linking out of this page, you never use these keywords and anchors, because what will happen? Google will think that seamless why seamless gutters is somewhere else, not here, because you are linking out using this keyword as an anchor. So always think like what's on the other end of the internal link, and use the keyword that this page you are linking to, you want to rank it for. And that's it. That's the number one rule on internal linking.
Brilliant. It kind of reminds me, I like to think in metaphors. So you want them to have completed their information journey on your article, on your page. They figured it out. If they have to continue searching and following through articles, uh, then they still are lost on their way, and Google reads it that way.
Yeah.
So maybe the only time that you would link out would be product names. Is that how you would do it? Like if you had an informational post about best of, then you would highlight the product names in the listicle.
Yes, but not only this way. I would also link to different blogs that are extensions of the topic. So imagine that we are writing about these climbing ropes. Where are they? That was really a good topic. Um, oh God, I don't know, where is it. So if I have a best climbing ropes article, and I also have a best ropes bags, it is really a good idea to link from climbing ropes to ropes bags, because you have to store these ropes somewhere, and this bag will fit this rope or vice versa. And this is just a great connection between two articles on similar topics to join them into something bigger, into a category about ropes maintenance or something like that.
Brilliant. It makes a lot of sense. Thanks for clearing that up. All right. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share on creating article outlines within the Surfer editor?
Maybe one last thing, real quick, because the outline. Oh, sorry, the editor. The outline says between 1,620 and 1,863 words on the page, and these recommendations are calculated for this target length. So if you decide to stop halfway and you tick these keywords green, it will mean that you have not enough content, so your density, your keywords density is too high. And how to prevent it? If you decide to finish earlier than the suggested length, make sure to click on this icon here and content structure and change the length to the desired length you are going to create the content. You can make the content shorter. It will also rank a little bit harder, but it will. But the most importantly, it will change the ranges of use, the suggested ranges of use for these keywords. So seamless gutter now is within the green because the range is between 4 and 6, and I have it 4 times. Take a look when I go back to the content structure, and I will restore the original setting so the length is double. The seamless gutter is not within the green anymore, and it should be used between 7 and 11 times. So take into consideration, if you are not going to meet the requirements in the range, adjust the guidelines, please. And that's it. That's all I wanted to show.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for showing us that. Now, for the rest of this training, for the next maybe 20 minutes, we'll show how Jasper can write the content for you much faster. Of course, the old way is that you would go and do all this keyword planning and then write from scratch by yourself. But now that we have AI that is trained on writing really high quality content with a tone of voice, it's keyword optimized, you can move roughly 2 to 5 times faster. And so really the goal here is to get your first draft done. So that way you can go back and then edit it, revise it at your own tone of voice, your own credibility, your anecdotes, things like that. And really this tool is mostly used for writer's block. If you haven't had your coffee yet and you are just looking to get going and have a direction, that's when you would use this tool most. And so we'll roll in. I'll be managing the comments as well, so definitely throwing on my multitasking hat here. But Michael, I would like if you could stick around, and as I showcase how to use the tools in combination, if you know any extra tricks and tips here, hop on in. Just maybe in the private chat, you can flag me. Cool.
Sure.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and hop on in. And I think a lot of people on this call probably are have Jasper, so I don't need to share too much. But maybe you're on a starter plan, and you have access to all of the templates. There's about 50 different templates here that we have trained Jasper on very specific use cases. So, we're the background of our company is we're back in the day marketing agency owners. Then we created multiple courses that have trained thousands of people. And now we're building software based on our experience. We've trained now this AI on how to write great ad copy. And so this is kind of how we started, just to give you context of the company. Now the AI itself has read 10% of the internet, most of the public internet actually, in 2019. And that's when we started training it on how to use specific examples like Facebook ads. So here it's doing the voice of Hulk Hogan to write an ad for this gym called Crunch Fitness. And it's kind of funny. It's nailing, Hulk Hogan. Can you just imagine him yelling, "I am the champion of the world," one of his taglines, right? You're going to have the summer body you love. So obviously, this isn't why you're here today, but you can get how we went from writing Facebook ads to then, more defined sections such as blog post outlines. And so here's like why to buy Athletic Greens, the best nutrition supplement. Here's maybe an article outline. Athletic Greens is the best supplement. How to do this, or we could say, maybe a listicle like, top supplements for athletes. And tone of voice here, I want you to think that you're just talking to your assistant. Jasper is very knowledgeable, but what it's most knowledgeable about is not just the information it's read on the internet, but more about the context. You can talk to it like a human. So you can say, hey, write this in a tone of voice that's educational and excited. Or you could do, as I just said, hey, I want you to mimic Hulk Hogan as you write this. All right. So here are different supplements you can, as like an article outline. So this is what you could do in combination with Surfer, where you use these different tools. And the better that you write, if you have a really clear idea of what you want the blog post title to be, and you got that, for example, from Surfer, you could throw that in here and have a better output. Giving Jasper better context as a boss, you want to give your assistant better directions. The better directions you give your assistant, the better job that they'll do. All right. And so here, as we get more specific, these become better. You want to direct Jasper in the right direction. All right. So now, for example, this is just $29 a month, and you get all 50 of these templates. And there's all these different categories, from e-commerce to, if you're writing Amazon product listings or your website copy, or for your blog, then you would just need this starter plan. But if you wanted to upgrade to boss mode, that gets you long form documents that are a little bit more free form. You can talk directly with Jasper, command it to write whatever you want without following our examples that we fed it, without following our directions. And if you go into the settings here, you can then toggle on Surfer SEO mode, and that's where you can get the deal as well. So when you toggle that on and you already have your Surfer account, you can just hop in here to documents. Let me start from scratch so you can see it. And I'm going to follow the blog post kind of workflow here just to get the ball rolling. And my girlfriend right now is starting a matcha brand. So shout out to her. I'm going to create a little matcha blog post. Matcha is the healthy alternative to coffee. And we can talk about, actually, let's just start there.
Come on. Coffee is healthy. You can drink more a day.
Well, we can say, it is less acidic.
Oh, much better.
And has more antioxidants than coffee. All right. And so here we are. And the keywords I maybe want to rank for, and we could go and reference Surfer for these keywords if we were doing keyword research before building our blog post. Matcha, and then maybe coffee alternatives. All right, here I'll continue. And that gave Jasper a reference for, hey, let's go ahead and get started here. Here's the background. I'm feeling a little lazy right now, so let's go ahead and generate some headlines. And if we want to start from scratch, we have maybe a very specific headline that is on our content roadmap, then we could start there. But here's some persuasive headlines that we've taught Jasper. This is what's going to get clicks, kind of like clickbaity headlines, but also relevant to the keywords and the topic that you've given it. A healthier alternative to coffee is matcha. The 10 benefits of matcha, a healthy coffee. That's a pretty good one. I like this. Cool. All right. And then for the intro paragraph, this is really important because you want to hook the reader. Maybe this is what's crawled by Google to reference as your meta description if you don't have one already written. Maybe this is your social media caption before you go and post it. You'll write this. And so we're just going to generate some ideas. Of course, you could write your own. All right, so here's a few that we can choose from. Do you love coffee but hate the acidity and the jitters? Matcha may be the perfect alternative for you. Matcha is a type of green tea that is made up from ground tea leaves and has a smooth, mellow flavor. Great, this is crushing it. Guys, you see how much faster this is? And now we're into the document editor. I want you to kind of imagine that this is like Google Docs. If you had a companion in there that is writing alongside with you. So, sometimes it can kind of feel lonely to write as a solopreneur or as a content writer and you're just in a coffee shop alone. Now you have somebody alongside you. I also like to build this here as we go along. So I'm going to build out my headlines, and all of those different templates that I had mentioned earlier, they're right here in Power Editor. So often what I like to do is here use the AIDA framework. It is an old school marketing framework that has stood the test of time. It stands for attention, interest, desire, and then action. It really pulls in a reader. And so what we can do is put in the blog post and put this here. And maybe I'm going for a luxury audience. I can ask it to have that tone of voice. And what we're going to do is write a kind of framework here to sell people on Matcha. And this is great for ad creative, for email marketing campaigns. But I love to do it as also a way to jumpstart ideas for the direction I'll take this blog article. All right. You can enjoy all the benefits of matcha without sacrificing taste. And then you can click on the ad. All right, great. So here's how we could take these, copy it, and push it over here. All right, so we're just starting to build out the tone, the background, why matcha, who is this for? But often in a blog article, it's not time to call to action. So I normally delete that. In this article, maybe I'll do in this article, there are some other healthy benefits of matcha. Let's go ahead and cover them. All right. And that's when we could hop over into the outline. And there's many directions here, but I like that this is a 10 benefits of matcha, the healthy coffee alternative. Jasper's really good at picking up patterns. And so if you go 10, for example, here, it's going to likely write it out as a listicle. And so we'll go like this and check this out. So here it is. Matcha's type of green tea, comes from Japan. So maybe a little background before we go into matcha. In ceremonies, and we'll start talking about the benefits, the nutrients, and all of that. Now it's following patterns, right? So what I'm going to do here is ask Jarvis, hey, go ahead and compose more like this. Follow the pattern and keep writing. All right. So here we are. Matcha has many health benefits, boosting energy, metabolic weight loss, and all of this. All right. So that's how much faster we can go. Maybe I want to make these our H2s. All right. Let me just roll a little bit faster for you. See here, we're building out the structure of our article before we have Jasper go and fill in the details. All right, so maybe here, I want to put that into its benefits. All right, and so now at this point, you all are able to see the basic idea of how Jasper writes. It follows patterns. You use these tools in different scenarios. So, maybe in the beginning of a blog post, if you are an author that people admire, a brand people admire, or an influencer of types, you might want to use a creative story to build trust in the beginning. All right. So, we can put a little background before the article, my personal story of leaving coffee to start drinking the healthier alternative of matcha. And Tim Ferriss, I appreciate him. He also loves matcha, so I'll roll with that, and we're going to put that right here above. I also might want to give Jasper a little context to this and pull in some of the benefits. So here we are. I'm going to generate, these are anecdotes, right? So we want to build trust with our audience, but we can also use these as just, inspiration. And I find these are just really solid ways to open up. I'll be honest with you, I used to be addicted to coffee. I loved the taste of it, and the caffeine gave me an energy boost that I couldn't resist. But over time, I started to notice that coffee was making me feel jittery and acidic. My stomach was always upset after drinking it, and I was getting heartburn often. So one day, I decided to give matcha a try instead. Let me tell you, I was in love after the first sip. Has this smooth, mellow flavor and contains antioxidants. Y'all, this is awesome. Okay, so we can just roll with this.
You know what? I'm already Googling matcha.
Heck yeah, man! I will tell you, it's delightful any time of the day. I personally love matcha. All right, so you can see here, I'm like really building the rough draft of my article, um, and you know, at this point, we're giving Jasper a lot of context about the article. The more that we're building it, it's starting to recognize there's a pattern here, and it's read articles. It knows what blog posts are. So we're really starting to build this out. We're already 432 words in. Now we just did the first half of this training on Surfer, and now we have a good grasp on what Jasper does. How do we combine them? And this is really where the power happens. Right inside now, we have Surfer built in, where if you have a Surfer account, log in there, and now that you've toggled it on in your settings, it brings it up. Oh, let's turn on Surfer mode. All right, so check this out. What we're going to do is, if we already have our keyword research done in Surfer, we'll find these clusters here, but I haven't done that yet. So, okay, I'm going to ask the man himself who knows this tool better than anybody else. Michael,
45 seconds and you will get it. So just type benefits of matcha here in keywords and hit create content editor, and that's all you need. And on the side
also
note,
shift enter and do multiple, right?
oh, this is great. Actually, do it.
Notes
Matcha
here, I'm following
as
these
coffee
directions.
yeah, put matcha as coffee alternative. It will bring you guys like copywriters love questions, don't they? And these questions help understand the topic. These questions direct them, and when we have more keywords to start with, we will find more people also ask questions in Google you can use to inspire yourself. So hit the create content editor now. As we have two keywords, we will be able to pull maybe 8 people also ask questions, so it will be decent amount. Would you click?
Cool,
So we
cool. I
triggered
wasn't sure if you wanted me to do, how many would you recommend in keyword clusters here? Should I
it
do
can
one
take
or
up to
three?
20.
What's that?
It can take up to 20, but it's fine to start with at least a few, but make sure to use the relevant terms. And by the way, if you use the research, the content planner tool, and if you create these tiles into the editors, you will find them here on the list, and they all have multi-keyword analysis already done. So you don't have to think about what else should I use for this article. So start with the planner, create some queries, and then use this tool. Oh, we already have 40.
Yeah,
Nice.
that out. Right. So we know that we need to, get between 35 and 82 headings, and this is H1s, 2s, and 3s. So as you, let's just say, like, highlight this and make it an H3, notice that that just went up, right? And as we see green tea, um, you know, uh, why matcha is the best green tea.
Got a tip for you. See, you got why matcha is the best. If you change it into why matcha tea is the best green tea, you will also, you see, the matcha tea is just orange. It turned orange. So you got another keyword. You can even change matcha tea powder. Uh, so, oh no, it won't work. It won't work because matcha powder is a separate keyword. So you need another use of matcha powder to tick it. But yeah, this way basically you inspire yourself and turn them green to rise the score.
Yeah. So, you could be like, how to make uh, matcha green tea. And then I'm going to do a Jasper command. Write a paragraph about how to make matcha green tea.
The future is now, old man.
Okay, so what it's doing is it's actually pulling in information from above. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you some tricks here. So if you're already a Jasper user, then you're going to figure this out. Use 3 asterisks. So what we came to find is Jasper is a great follower of directions, but it also a great follower of patterns. And if these patterns are being asked to be followed, it's really hard to shift him out of that pattern onto a new topic to pivot. So what we do is we put these 3 asterisks where we don't want Jasper to read any more above, and really just think about the question that we're asking it. Now, also, whenever Jasper writes, it's reading all of this here. So if I found that that wasn't what I wanted, I'm going to go ahead and delete this stuff. And maybe I still want to be keyword specific, but for now, I'm not going to. Keeping this blank will give Jasper a fresh mind and stop reading above here. So now I can ask this question again. How to make matcha green tea. Hot bowl, a whisk, and matcha powder. Pour it over in a bowl. Wow, check that out. How fast is that? So I bet you now in surfer mode here, we're now at 50. Why? Because hot water, and so I see here matcha whisk using the matcha whisk.
Exactly.
Now we start, naturally integrating the keywords as we're building the article out. So as you can see, like this is how you would move much faster. You can ask Jasper to do a lot of stuff. So let's say here, I want to delete that. And I'm going to ask it to do another command. These commands, I want you to think that you're just commanding the AI directly. There's no template here. It's not following anything. You're literally giving instructions to your assistant. Let me go ahead and do this again. All right. You can do, my keyboard just died. There we go. Write a paragraph about the healthy alternative. Actually, what we're going to do is write an intro blog paragraph about the healthy alternative to matcha. Fantastic. Here are 10 reasons to start drinking it today. All right, and I would just delete this. I like to keep it just so I remember. And sometimes I'll go like this. I'll put a little here just so I can see what were my commands. And I'll actually get to this in a second because there's a very powerful feature called recipes where people build structures for commands, and you can move dramatically faster. I'll show you that here in a second. So check that out. Great intro paragraph. And some people might be thinking, and actually some people are asking, how do you do and activate the voice function? So this is actually something that your computer already has. If you go into the settings, preferences, you can add on voice dictation on your computer and give it a hotkey. Personally, I like to set the hotkey as Control, the bottom left-hand key. And so if I do that twice in a row, watch this. Hey, Jasper, good to meet you. It says, meet you in the coffee shop. All right. And so I want you to really have fun and play around here. You could do things like write a funny story about the first time you drink matcha. It's true, it can be bitter, but not the good ones. What have I got myself into? Now, let's say that I didn't really like that story. I want to refresh it. Let me go ahead and rephrase what this is. And it's going to spin the content to be original and creative. When it came to the test, I was certainly not prepared for it the first time I ever tried it. Notice that it's moving sentences around. It's changing synonyms out. And let's say I didn't like that. Maybe that's when I would use power mode and I would go into very specific examples. What I like about these is they're trained on great examples. Unlike if you talk directly to the AI here, it's open, free form. These are the best of the best examples fed to Jasper. So, for example, for headlines, we asked Jasper, we fed it like all of our highest converting ad creative headlines, our highest open rates for emails, etc. And so it really found a good pattern there. You're not going to get that function within here. And so that's kind of, I want you to sway between free form and structured form. We can talk about ridiculous marketing ideas here. Let's ask Jasper, what is a hilarious idea to sell matcha? And what I like about doing these is it gives us a lot of options. I can ask it to do 10 variations here. And so it would be like customers leave Earth and are sent to the planet of matcha. I know it's kind of ridiculous, but obviously this is the point, is it's ridiculous marketing ideas, especially design chopsticks, something on a level of a weapon or something. So it's just, we also like to have fun and do stuff here. So it's not all about SEO, right? Now, back on topic. So I want you to think now, maybe in your mind, if you wanted to go and look up, our headline, who's already ranking for it. Here we are. And, if they're crushing it, shared benefits. How about for late weight loss? We haven't talked about that at all. I'm going to go ahead and just get 2 paragraphs. Throw this in here. How matcha helps with weight loss. So I'm just giving you a little context here, and let's see all these. So what I can do is just ask it to rephrase, and then it will now generate a original paragraph, and I'll replace that text.
Come on, too easy.
And here, let's say that I didn't like this, or maybe I had my own article that I wanted to freshen up and I wanted tone of voice and some other features here. I can go to the content improver, which by the way is the #1 used template out of all 50. So I throw in some old content of mine and then, put in my own tone of voice. And let's say that I'm, using a tone of voice.
Use John Rambo.
What's that?
John Rambo, please do. I don't know what will happen.
John Rambo?
Of course.
Like that?
I watched The First Blood recently. No, Rambo, the First Blood guy, with guns.
Oh, yeah.
Sylvester Stallone,
Yeah. All right, let's see what Rambo says about matcha here. Maybe that's what gets him so fired up before his workouts. All right, so it's pulling in some actual pieces of. So if you ever need like sources or facts and things like that Jasper isn't calling from yet, then you want to go and add those in the context above. so it's guided there. See here, this is original content. Now, check this out. Yeah. Okay, cool. Now, you might be thinking like, all right, this could be malplay, bad use. I don't want you to just publish it right away. Obviously, you need to add your own tone of voice, your own stories, your own facts, cite them if, not just for your own, to cover your butt, but also because it's great for building SEO qualities. Michael, can you maybe share insights on the value of backlinking and sourcing, citing experts and other authoritative blog posts?
Absolutely. Yeah, it can be a positive signal. Some folks consider it as something really important when you link out to trustworthy sources. But in terms of building authority, I feel like something else hooked me in what you said is that you can quote folks, you can quote people that are recognizable, that are, well, entities, because in terms of the entities we've got like places, things, all the elements that Google can understand and name, and it can also be people. And if you quote within your article about matcha, you will quote, I don't know, someone who is really well known in health industry, that matcha is good. You will receive a strong signal that means that you are really, you know, you're saying the truth. So building these signals is really important, just like building backlinks and just like linking out to trustworthy sources. And I will tell you a trick that whenever you link to Google related services, either YouTube or some blogging platforms that are associated with Google, to Google My Business pages, or stuff that Google owns, you will also be in benefit of that because they love to promote their own resources.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And so, also, one thing that we built in, we know that having original content and citing sources is very important to you. It's also very important to Google. And here we are trying to be, the best writing tool paired with the best SEO tool. It's very important that we obviously do a little plagiarism check, right? And so that's also why we teamed up with the very best plagiarism tool to make sure that you are in the clear. And so we teamed up with Copyscape, and that is the number one source for making sure that you.
Outstanding move.
Yeah, thank you. And we've actually negotiated a deal where when you buy through us, you get 20% more credits. So we weren't able to include this totally in the tool, unfortunately, while we did make a request in negotiations here. But buy at a discount and get 20% more credits. So let's go ahead and just scan the document. Remember, at this point, we have rephrased a lot of the content, right? So as it's writing original content. It's not sourcing any one specific source. And we see here 0 plagiarism was found. All right. And so I want you to understand why this is, because you have to know how Jasper works. How does Jasper write? And so here's a little fun quiz for you all. Does Jasper write a paragraph at a time? Does it generate full paragraphs? Does it generate sentences? Does it generate words? Or does it generate characters? Well, the real answer, as you come to find out, is every single word is printed one at a time, so that and they all have basically there's a bunch of ranking factors that go into how it chooses the word that it writes, but it has read so much of the internet, it knows what words are likely to come up next. And so let's say I fill in a sentence here. Hey guys, I'm about to go to the, everybody in the audience, all 400 of you all, just thought of my next word. And there's probably a whole bunch of different words that you all thought of. Some of those might have been repeated by more people than others. There's a probability that you thought, I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to go to the gym, whatever, right? So it predicts the most likely words one at a time. And so it's not citing anybody. It's referencing everything that's read above the last 3,000 characters from wherever the cursor is. So it has context of the situation. And then it's going to reference what you put here into the brief. And so this is context of the background information, facts, who you are, all of that. All right. So to give maybe one last example here is I was doing an email outreach, and I was asking Jasper to write an email for a friend of mine who's a real estate agent. And so it's going to, I think I was on this one, right? I gave Jasper background here, and then I gave it merge tags. Real estate agent equals Dave. Season equals New Year's. Market demand is up. Inventory is down. Call to action equals hop on a call. And then I gave it a command. All right, so I'm going to delete what it just wrote. And this is just so you get an example of how you can use all of this combined together. So this is now an email, maybe talking about your matcha brand or whatever. But following patterns, recognizing what a really good example is. See here, I put the merge tags into it, but it wants to write something very specific. Write an email from Dave to James about the update on the Austin market real estate and ask for a call this week. Submit this as an inquiry, and Jasper's thinking, it's reading all of this, and bam, there you go.
I see a great potential of that particular feature in SEO, especially in link building and doing outreach to various websites owners claiming for a link. It will be incredibly effective in doing something special, unique, crazy, sometimes funny. It will, those subject lines, boom. I'm wondering how many of these outreach link builders use it already. If they don't, well, they have to.
Yeah, think about your link building efforts. And let's say you have a team of writers, or you've trained virtual assistants to go and do this for you. You don't want to necessarily copy and paste because the situation changes all the time. And that's when we create these things called recipes. And so what if you could repeat this over, kind of like how you would a code file or you would a template, but you don't want it to be exactly the same, but you want it as training for everybody to like duplicate the same standard operating procedure. Well, that's when we get recipes. So if you go to community.jasper.ai, then you'll find a bunch of recipes created by us and the community. And these are formulas. So I'm going to bring up Dave's here. So this is a series of commands where we've asked Jasper to follow how to write the perfect blog post according to Dave, right? And maybe we have some experts in the crowd that have also contributed recipes from their own learnings. And so check this out. I'm going to go ahead and run it. It duplicates it. And then, we can go and I'm going to bring up my 10 benefits of matcha. And let's see, what was one of that background? Let's see here. I think it was.
Is it your clipboard history?
Yeah, I do, man.
What kind of magic is this?
Yeah, I have all my copied things right here. This is called what is this app? Copy Clip.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's going to read this and the topic. I'm going to replace that merge tag. And now here, bam, send that command, write a brief for the 10 benefits of matcha. I'm going to delete that. Let's see. All right, here we go. Matcha is becoming a quick alternative. So now I'm building my article. So I'm just showing you different ways to go about the same thing. And this is what's beautiful about the community is you figured out all this stuff. Write blog article title ideas for the above. Let's say I already have this, right? I'm kind of jumping ahead. All right, so I'm asking it now. Here's the 10 benefits of matcha. All right. I already like my other one, so I can now put that there. So I have the brief. Here's headline. Write an introduction. All right. It keeps going, right? So there we go. Let's just hit it. There's some more things you need to know. Now we're going to write an outline. You see how fast we're getting when we know the commands. Sweet. Now all of these are H2s. Write about. Oh. And what I'm going to do here is remember this little trick, 3 asterisks, because I don't want to try and pull in this information. I want to go straight into what is matcha. It's pulling in my header, so get rid of that. All right, and now I like doing this again. Of course, you might want to expand on that, and you would look at Surfer for this. Bring in here as we go along. All right, let me say write about. Why to drink matcha. Sweet. And if let's say I wanted a shorter one, I could just go like this and say.
This is crazy. Sorry for interrupting. I'm just gonna
go ahead a little faster and click compose. So you see how much shorter that is, right? What it's going to do when I just click compose is it's just reading above and carrying on with itself rather than following a command, which is what these are. So click compose. All right, so we need to go and make sure that all of this is factually correct. So make sure that you do cite your sources when it comes to things that you did not come up with, like facts on credibility. But if it's your own just general information, or if it's a story or all of that, of course, you don't have to fact check it. This is a creative writing tool. It helps you move much faster. It will help you build up the amount of words you need, and there's many different ways to use it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead, and I think everybody kind of gets it at this point. We've been going for an hour and 30. So let me go ahead and maybe answer any questions for you all now. And you all can carry on with your day writing blog posts and ranking on Google. Michael, do you have any questions as I start to read through these?
I don't think so. I'm really amazed with how fast it is, really. Yeah. I can see so many applications.
We're giving it away to everybody here on today's call, 10,000 free words. So if you want to go ahead and try it out, risk-free, just go to free trial, jasper.ai/free trial. And then let's see here. So yeah, you can create a recipe yourself, and then you can post it for your team, for the public. You can add team members to it and make it repeatable. That's one of the real beauties of us, and nobody else in the market has that. So you're able to systemize your workflow. Maybe you have a proprietary way about doing these things, and
imagine this. So, there are tons of efforts put by SEOs to create location pages. Let's say they want to take over the plumber's niche, right? And they will write an article about plumber in this city, this city, this city, and count the cities. It's countless. And imagine a recipe that will allow them to create such unique descriptions of plumbers in any city. It's crazy. I mean, this is the way to do it, not manually anymore. Wow.
Absolutely. And I'm no local SEO expert here, but if there is an agency owner or a freelancer that is really good at this, here's an opportunity for you to get your name out there by creating a recipe off of a formula you've created for like the ultimate local SEO landing page for your service, and then give that to the community. But of course, your name will be attached, and you'll get your name out there. And then we also allow for you to have on your own. You can attach a video to the top on how to use your article here, right? So it's a bit of a credibility builder. And yeah, so very, very helpful tool here. And then let's see, as we hop off here, so the case studies, I was planning on attaching 3 different customer stories on how they use it in their workflow. What ended up happening is it's just uploading way too long. I think it's something here in Restream. So what I'm going to do is using the magic of editing, chop it here at the end and attach those for the replay. Later today, I'll post that replay and email it to everybody that has registered here. So you'll see those appended at the end. They're each about 10 minutes long. So in a few minutes, you can watch those. All right, and then let's see here. All right. Well, it looks like we've covered all of the big time questions. Thank you all for joining us live here today. If you haven't already, go ahead and get your free Jasper account. And if you haven't started with Surfer, go to jasper.ai/surfer-deal, and you'll be able to basically get 1 month free, $1, get committed, start using it and see for yourself. Then attach two tools together and you can crush content. From what I've learned from our customers, once you get good at this, roughly you can crank out an article that has a score of 75 or higher in about 2 to 3 hours. If you get really good, you can do about 1,000 words an hour. And then one of the guys said that he was able to write and publish that article within 7 days. It was indexed by Google, and he was on the first page. So literally, you can get tangible results this week if you replay this training, follow along, get your toes wet, and get at it. Any last thoughts here, Michael?
Yeah, just try it out. I mean, you can make $200 for 1,000 words, and if you can make it an hour, the math is on your end, really.
Yeah, very true. All right, y'all. Well, thank you for attending us live, and if you're watching the replay, I'll see you on the inside. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers. Thank you.
First, Josh, why don't you just introduce me, who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Josh Richner. I'm a marketing coordinator for a consumer rights law firm. We're focused on helping people with their debt. And that's the world I've lived in for a long time, for about 12, 13 years. I also do freelance writing, copywriting, and marketing consulting as well. So I've got a couple of different applications for Jasper. And
what was before you found these tools, kind of your workflow, and like what was that like beforehand?
So it was a very manual process. It was a lot of trial and error. And fortunately, I found Jasper very shortly into that process and was able to accelerate the amount of content that I was creating really rapidly. I was already doing freelance writing at that time. So this also allowed me to take on more freelance writing clients too.
Because of the time savings, or what kind of, like, was it the bandwidth? How did that help you grow that?
It was And in a weird way, it was also largely the confidence that it gave me. It allowed me to know that I'm going to be able to get this done. It allowed me to break through that creative block that would sometimes come up. And frankly, it was just fun. It was a fun tool to play with. So I wanted to use it more. I have my own projects that I use. I have my own websites that I build, but also just to be able to monetize it and use the tool. In that way, I found it very helpful. The other thing is, like I said, it's fun. I have fun with it, and I bring my kid into it. He's 8 years old and he loves playing on there. He wrote a story about Abraham Lincoln, so we like incorporate his homeschooling into it and help him understand a little bit about programming and writing and just the world. It's a fascinating tool. The use cases are really pretty limitless. I don't have a ton of bandwidth to do much beyond the content creation. I don't have the ability to put a major effort towards backlink outreach and things like that. So I am trying to find the keywords that I can rank for strictly on the content. We'll get to the to the backlink effort soon, but right now I'm building out the content. So some of those pillar keywords that I was looking for the law firm were debt settlement attorney and its variations: debt settlement lawyer, debt relief attorney. I look for these 20 mid 30 keyword difficulties. That's what I look for. Volume for us is it just economically low right now, and we understand that that's just it's not a bad keyword. It's just the current situation economically. So we are coming in right around 4. We've got 5 times to call a debt settlement attorney. And then when we have debt settlement attorney, we're in about the same spot.
You wrote all of those articles with Jasper?
Yeah. For the most part, all of the content that I'm creating for the law firm is created with Jasper as a writing assistant. There's a lot of my own DNA inserted into them. It's certainly not just written by Jasper, but it's a huge help, and I find it easier to write in this space. This is my preferred writing area now.
Now, what percentage do you think is written by you versus Jasper?
It's hard to say. I go back and forth on that because I try to get an idea. I would say, maybe half and half. I am probably running through, maybe I'll do a paragraph here and there entirely of my own. I'll have Jasper create a paragraph or two, but I'm always going back, editing, fact checking, revising, choosing some different word choices. And then we go through our compliance process, our editing process. So by the time the published article gets out there, I'd say it's probably 80% unique, but still written considerably faster than if I were writing the entire thing on my own.
Starting from a blank page, how do you even really get started? What is the outline process to building a paragraph?
Yeah, so I am using all possible tools. I have Boss Mode. I love Boss Mode. I use the Power Mode a lot. I use the SEO mode quite a bit. I start in Surfer. That's where I'm going to create my content editor. I believe they just updated the integration here to allow me to pull up the outline and brief from directly within Jasper, which will be wonderful. But I'm starting in Surfer. I'm doing my creating my content editor, and I am checking out the brief to get an idea what the competitors are. I'm taking some time to review them, understand what is working, what isn't working, kind of the tone and the intent of the content that's ranking currently for what I'm after. And then I use that to build my outline. The first thing is I'll create my outline, come up with the title, come up with my headers, and run through that. From there, I go into creation mode, where I'm going to use my Jasper commands to write a blog intro paragraph. I'm going to use Jasper.
Can you show me how to do that?
Absolutely. So I'm going to come over to focus mode. I've got my content description over here, which basically outlines that we're going to be suggesting 5 times somebody should call a debt settlement attorney, explaining the differences between debt settlement and some of the other things. So I've got my description. I use a tone of voice of compelling a lot. I find that this tends to match our brand voice. So I'll use that. And I will usually see what Jasper comes up with for a blog post intro paragraph. So I use the Shift Control Enter, and we'll see what we come up with. This is pretty good. Just looking at the quick output, debt settlement is an option for people with unsecured debt who are at risk of bankruptcy. Attorneys negotiate with your creditors to set up a repayment plan that's manageable and fair. This is pretty good. There's a lot of facts in here that are not true. I cannot trust it to say that we've been in helping people achieve debt relief since 2005. It just creates that. It conjures up from the ether. So I've got to take a look at that stuff. I've got to make sure that it's going to be, accurate. I would say a 2,000 word article when I'm tying in Surfer SEO and I'm running it through Grammarly and soup to nuts. I'm probably taking about an hour per 1,000 words. I think that's a realistic time frame for me. But again, I insert a lot of my own DNA into each of the articles. I have sat down and completed a 2,000 word article within 20 to 30 minutes before, when I'm not as concerned about the SEO side of things, when I'm not as concerned about it being my own work product, and I'm not as vested in the article, or I just need something rather quick. It's absolutely feasible to do that in 20, 30 minutes.
Sweet. Well, yeah, I don't want to take any more of your time, man, but I really appreciate you showing me through how you're using this. And it's a great workflow, and you seem to be getting great results.
I'm happy. It's definitely been a game changer for me. The other side that I'd like to throw out there is just the creative side, being able to come up with those topic ideas, come up with some, fun, exciting and new content approaches. Those are huge. And that's where Jasper really shone, where it was really shining for me early on. So it's an amazing and powerful tool.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Josh.
And I usually just start from scratch and then turn on SEO mode. And I can do everything in here. So I'd go and see what it will create for me. So sometimes it takes a sec.
It's cool. So you've done your keyword research, and now you're throwing the keywords you want to rank for into Surfer. And what it's doing right now is looking at who's already ranking for those keywords, and then creating, what is the competitive content that you need to beat them and dominate the first page.
Right. Yeah. That's what I want.
That's
what
right.
I want to do. Here it goes. I'm actually interested to see which words it's going to pull up. What I like about Surfer too is it like keeps all my past keywords in here. So if I'm writing an article and I'm like, oh man, I wanted to use that same keyword, like let's say that I'm just writing a bunch of articles about lawn care, it's already in there. So I can start to rank on the same keyword in multiple articles.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay, cool. So these are some of the keywords that it has brought up. It's also given me how many words I should write in my article. So I don't know why it keeps doing that. How many headings to have, how many images to have. And so I like knowing kind of what I'm in for. And so I kind of would plan my content based around this keyword. So, okay, so now I know that this might take me 2 hours because it's almost 3,000 words. It's kind of what I'm looking at.
Yeah. So yeah, how do you kind of budget the amount of time it takes to, and what is the standard that it takes for you to feel like this is complete?
I mean, I feel like it's complete once I head over to this kind of in the green zone. And so I think once you pass the 72, you're technically in the green zone. And there's little tips and tricks to get you there quicker, and you don't have to actually get all the way up to 2,900 words like for this article. Like putting your keyword in a heading will always kind of bump up your score a little bit quicker. Adding images throughout your article will bump up your score. So there's little things that you can do to kind of get there before you have the words all generated. So,
and how long does it take you to get to like a 72 score or higher?
I'd probably say if I have all my headings in there with the keywords, Um, I could probably get there within like an hour. But then it's me writing good content with Jasper to go along with it. And so I'm not going to add all of these keywords to headings. And so I want to add them where they make sense throughout my article. So I think that's the most time consuming thing, is making sure that I'm still writing well and using the keywords that Surfer is suggesting, while also working hand in hand with Jasper. So he's not doing it by himself. We are a team and we're working together. I think that's what makes your workflow go a lot faster. So once you kind of overcome that little obstacle and learning curve, I think you're like pumping out content quick.
Heck yeah. What are some of the commands that you would use to run through this here?
Yeah, so the first place I would start probably is, now that I kind of have a base of what I want to do, I'd probably just go to power mode and go to blog post outline. And so let's see, I'd go best. And then, yeah, I like witty. I'll do that. So now I just want to like start actually building content. And I'll always start with an outline. Sometimes that happens. Let's do just a bit empty. See if he knows. There we go. Beans, nuts, tofu, grains, veggies. And I actually feel like I eat pretty plant-based, so I feel like that's pretty legit. So yeah, I'd probably just copy this over, kind of have like a framework of what I want to write about, and then we'll start kind of building out my content from here. So best. And then I might go and I really like to keep this blank. I know that's maybe not how we usually teach people how to use Jasper, but I like to just keep everything in one place. And so running this command, he's only going to read my title here and not anything in my sidebar. So, but that's just my personal preference. I think if you use a sidebar, it's awesome. You just have to make sure that you're changing out the content there.
Yeah, because Jasper reads the 3,000 characters above where the cursor is, plus all of the brief on the left-hand side in that content bar. So if you leave it blank, then it's just reading what's above the cursor.
Right. Which I like, because then I'm like, I don't have to think about going back to change out what's in the bar. So, but that's just my preference.
Yeah. But if you want to have like context, or maybe it's a new subject and you need to teach Jarvis a little bit about current events, you might need to put that in there, because Jasper read the internet in 2019. So if you're talking about, a new crypto drop, or you're talking about current events around the world, it doesn't know about those things. So that's where you use the left-hand side, is for context.
Yes. Yeah. If I'm wanting to pivot a little bit, I'll always use the sidebar. I think that's a really good point. Yeah. So that's kind of an example of a command I would run to just write an intro paragraph. If I don't like it, I can always change it. If I want to just rewrite one sentence, I can always rephrase it. So I really like the little tools up here at the top to kind of change out. I don't really, that just changed one word, but yeah. And so then from here, I'm going to kind of start making it look like a blog, because Jarvis does write based on patterns. And so I want him to know that this is going to be a blog post. So if he sees different like headers or different things, he's going to start writing to help me create content based on the patterns that he already knows. So then after I've kind of got like a little bit of a base, I'll go back to Surfer and start plugging in like all these little keywords. So just where they make sense. So as I go, and then I might use this little tool here, which that just prevents Jasper from reading what's above if I'm really just trying to have him focus on lentils. And so I'd write a.
So as you write that, so Jasper is going to read all above the cursor up until the point of those three asterisks. Kind of think of it like a blinder. And that helps stop any patterns Jasper might try to pick up. For example, if you write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you wanted to start writing a paragraph, it's going to be really hard to get it to do that because it's trying to follow a pattern. And so what Megan just did here is stop the pattern and maybe pivot to a new subject.
Yep. It's exactly what I did. And I actually really like how in Surfer it's telling me to mention amino acids. And so I might even, before I started with like writing this content, I might have him, I like this command a lot. Ooh, got my editor on. Answer the question, and you can put a little colon here and just have him, what are the benefits? And then run it. I like this command a ton. When I learned about it, I was like, wow, this is so helpful.
Yeah, very helpful.
So, and just kind of like, maybe I could do this for some of the different keywords that I have in here. Just answer the question. What are the benefits of chia seeds? Or why should I eat whole grains? Or what is a saturated fat? And then I'm starting to build out content that I can then plug in later, which I think is super helpful. So that's kind of letting Jasper take a little bit more of the heavy lifting. But you'll always want to fact check to make sure it's legit. But yeah, I think Jasper knows a ton about a plant-based diet, but sometimes if something is a little bit more niche, he might not know a ton about it.
Yeah, totally agree. And, we've only been here building this article for, 5 to 7 minutes now, and you already have 208 words written out of what Surfer is recommending is around 3,000 words. So, I mean, you can see just the pace here. We're moving at lightning speed. Some people are wondering, like, is this being copied and pasted from somewhere? Do you see, how do you like check for plagiarism and, cite sources if you need to?
Yeah, for sure. So what's really cool about Jasper is that we integrate directly with Copyscape. And so if you're ever wondering like, hey, how does Jasper know his content? He never plagiarizes. So he's built on understanding and creating content originally. And so he's building word by word what could be content for you. And so, but if you're like, hey, I do want to check and see if this was plagiarized at all, you can come up here to our plagiarism checker and you can scan the document. And so I run this, see what happens. Congrats, no plagiarism found in your content. So I love that.
Good to do, maybe at the very end, because, as an agency, you have to make sure that you're delivering your clients content that they can feel confident in posting without maybe any hesitancies, repercussions that might happen if you take somebody else's content. And so it's really important if you're delivering content for someone else that you run a plagiarism check. And I'd recommend maybe doing this at the very end rather than going all throughout it, just because it does cost a little bit of money, but it's not all that much. You can see here, costs just a couple cents to do these few paragraphs.
Yeah, for sure. And if you buy your Copyscape credits inside Jasper, you actually get 20% more than if you just bought them on Copyscape. So the team will give you another 20%.
I love it. Well, thanks so much, Meg, for showing us your process. So, Eddie, you are an affiliate marketer and blogger by trade and have gone through the Jasper Mastermind, going through Adam and Colin's course on the blog growth engine. And over the past few months, you've gained a lot of rankings and starting to build up your own affiliate income on the side. How's that been going? And how have you been using Jasper and Surfer in the mix?
Yeah, so thank you for having me on. It's been a huge opportunity for me. So After, before I started using Jasper and Surfer, I was kind of just like writing my articles without any kind of guidelines. And I just want to say, like, after I started using these tools, my content has exploded for me in the past few months. And I have been able to create, actual content that does rank on the first page of Google. And this has allowed me to actually earn like affiliate revenue, and has able to like actually, quit my job and just focus on blogging full time. And it's also opened up opportunities. And that's literally just been using Jasper and Surfer.
What has life kind of been like before you were using this kind of modern tech stack? How were you trying to go about building articles and your rankings before you figured out about these tools?
Almost close to quitting on my blog, because I was taking about 3 to 5 days to write an article, and that was after doing the research and coming up with like the FAQs and everything.
And how long does it take you to write like an SEO optimized article now?
As of right now, it takes me about no more than 2 hours to complete the entire draft. And then now I use Surfer to do the audit feature once I publish it. So it does take me about 3 hours or so of pure work.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. And so by building these articles, you end up creating really valuable content. How do you like the quality of what Jasper writes for you?
I actually love the quality that it writes. Sometimes, obviously, you have to work with the tool, so it will repeat words, and you just need to make sure that you add the three asterisk marks, and just make sure that you work around that tool, because it's supposed to be an assistant for you. You can't just solely focus on the outputs. So you need to help Jasper come up with better content, like together. So I love the information that provides, and also I like the feature where you can like flag something or like rephrase the content if it doesn't really sound like your own tone. But other than that, the outputs have been amazing for Jasper.
Cool. I love it, man. Well, why don't you go ahead and share your screen and let's walk through one of the articles that you're ranking on page 1 for.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and share my screen. Here is one article that I just wrote about a few days ago, and it's already, if you look it up on, I'm number 3 for this article, and it's for a credit SaaS company. And I use Jasper to write the entire content, and I always add the H2s first. So then that's when I start kind of generating the content through Jasper that way. And here's my Surfer score for the audit feature.
You started with the end in mind. You're like, maybe microphones pay out good commissions. And so you're ready to write a blog post on it. You throw it into Jasper, you write your first kind of headline. You could either use the workflow to write a blog post and generate headline ideas, or you just put a placeholder in one as you just have, best microphone for bloggers. And that's when you open up the Surfer drawer within the app. So you've logged into Surfer in another tab, and then now this kind of loads here in the app. You place that headline into Surfer, and at this point, it is using its AI to go and look at who's already ranking for this kind of set of keywords. And at this point, now you have a baseline. You're obviously starting from 0, and we can figure out what will it take to get this on page 1. So that's kind of where we're at now. How do you go further from here?
But first, I'll go ahead and go to the outline, and I'll see the topic and questions that people are asking. So what is the best microphone for blogging? And then I'll go ahead and I'll just either copy and paste that on here. And then I normally create it as an H2. And then I'll keep looking at different type of ideas. So either it's from the headings, or I'll go ahead and look at typically the titles to kind of get an idea of what I'm going to be writing about. But first of all, I always make sure that I write just like H3s that are going to make sense for my blog article, meaning that typically some people are going to ask like, what is a microphone for, what's the best microphone for a blogger? I write that as the first H2, because as people are going to be wanting to search for. Then you're going to write the frequently asked questions at the bottom of the article to rank for more keywords in Google. So I always use the ADA framework when it comes to Jasper, and that kind of gives me the opening paragraph for my content. But when it comes to Jasper, it goes basically from blank to writing content for me and I don't get stuck on writer's block. So Jasper has been a huge help when it comes to actually getting the first few words on my doc, and I can actually start writing my content. Because before I would just get stuck on the Google Docs form or even just on WordPress, and I was never able to complete my content. Typically, I'll ask Jasper to write it for me. So write me an Ada framework for best microphone for bloggers. Yeah, so this is literally the same mic that I'm using for the Blue Yeti.
Nice.
But yeah, so Jasper will come up with amazing Ada framework type of content for me. So it says, do you want to start a podcast? The best microphone for bloggers is the Blue Yeti. It's an excellent all-around mic that sounds great and records beautifully. The mic is easy to set up and use. So if you're looking for something simple, this might be your best bet. Plus it comes with a stand, so there's no need to buy anything else. I'll typically remove the action, and then I'll start writing something as in, let's check out the best microphone for bloggers in this review. And then I'll go ahead and start creating the content that way. But we already have 100 words in the doc, and that would have taken me like an hour.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely much faster.
And you want to make sure that you have a personalized approach when it comes to your product reviews, because that's going to be really important as a Google ranking factor nowadays, especially after their update.
So you can go to like power mode, and you could even put a little backstory about yourself in that creative storyteller.
Okay, so let me see the outputs it provided us. I've been using microphones for a long time, and it's been a huge help for my blog and podcast. I love the way that I can capture sound so clearly, making it a perfect tool for creating content. Plus, they're really easy to use, which is great for people like me who are always on the go. So this is something I definitely use when it comes to adding a personal story. And I typically add that before, right after the sales framework. So it kind of gives a personalized approach with my content.
Do you ever use the product description template when you're using product review blog post?
Yeah, so I use it for a recent one, which was for a Instagram tool. Like right here, I use it for a tool called Kicksta. I'll use it at times because it does provide also like kind of like a sales framework type of output. So I will use it at times.
When do you go back into Surfer and kind of use these two tools together?
Yeah, so I'll kind of go back in Surfer back and forth just because so I can go ahead and kind of get a bigger view of the doc. But I'll go ahead and always go back and forth with Surfer, making sure that my content score goes up. So obviously, if there's keywords I could enter that makes sense, I would change that inside of the actual doc. There was one article that I wrote for Boom Pay Review, and I wrote it in last week. Now this post is already ranking on the first page of Google after using Jasper and the Surfer audit feature. So you can see here that it's already on the first page. And I've already been receiving, even though it has a little bit of search traffic, I've already gotten 3 affiliate commissions from this article. So after a few days of being published, this article is already indexed and on the first page of Google.